After the tornado, I sent my 16-year-old daughter to stay with my parents, while I stayed behind to help as a doctor. There's no room, they said, and left her standing outside. My sister and her 3 kids live there rent-free. I didn't shout. I acted. 2 weeks later, they were the ones panicking. The first call? I didn't ignore it. I just didn't hear it. When the ER's packed wall-to-wall, when you're running on 0 sleep for the 3rd day straight, when there's a line of people bleeding out behind the next set of doors, yeah, a phone ringing doesn't exactly register.
Hi. I'm Tiffany. ER doctor. Oklahoma.
That week, we got slammed by a tornado, one of the serious ones. Not enough to flatten the whole city, but it ripped through like a drunk driver on a 2-lane highway. Everything technically still standing, but nothing the same. The hospital was chaos. Staff on autopilot. Nobody asking if you've eaten, nobody taking breaks. Just moving. I was 3 shifts deep. So no, I didn't hear the first call. Or the second. The third? I happened to glance down, muscle memory. Saw her name light up. Olivia. My daughter. That name hits different. I stepped back, gave the nurse a quick nod, cover me a sec. Leaned against the wall, braced myself, and picked up. Her voice was shaking. Mom. I'm outside. They wouldn't let me in. It took a second for the words to make sense. What? Wait, what are you talking about? They said, there's no room. They told me to leave. And just like that, the noise around me faded. Like I was underwater. Like the room sucked in on itself. Where are you now? I was gripping the phone like it might explode. I'm standing in front of Grandma's house. At the gate. I rang, I knocked. She looked out the window and said I had to go. Said there's already too many people inside. Olivia's voice cracked, small and tired. I didn't want to bother you. I didn't know what else to do. What was she supposed to do? My 16-year-old daughter, the one I sent out of town to stay safe while I stayed behind helping strangers with crushed ribs and missing limbs, was now standing outside like a stray dog because her grandparents decided they were at capacity. I'm calling Aunt Cindy. I'll call you right back, okay? Do you remember where she lives? Yeah, I think so. You said it's close. Hung up. Dialed Cindy. Thank God she answered. Tiffany. Can Olivia stay with you a few days? My parents shut the door in her face. Cindy cursed. Loudly. Of course. I'm going to get her now. I nodded even though she couldn't see me. Hung up. Called Olivia again, gave her the address, told her to call me when she got there. Then I took a breath. One more grenade to pull. I called my mom. She picked up like it was any normal Tuesday. Hello, Tiffany. What the hell just happened? What do you mean? You turned Olivia away. She was standing at your door. Silence. Then cold as ever. There's already a lot of people here. You know Joan's staying with the kids. I told you this was temporary. We talked about it. You knew Eric and I would be working non-stop. I asked you to take her for just a few days. We're not a charity, Tiffany. Don't be so dramatic. Olivia's old enough. She can handle herself. It's not the end of the world. And there it was. The phrase that hit harder than anything else. We're not a charity. Said about their own granddaughter. My daughter. In the background, I heard someone yelling for help. Something crashed. A monitor beeped. But I didn't move. I just hit end call. No crying. No screaming. Just silence. Even in my head. It was like a switch flipped. Click. And I knew. This was it. The last straw. I turned around and walked back into the ER like nothing happened. Right now, Olivia's at Aunt Cindy's place. I know she's okay. She's probably curled up on the couch with a blanket, a mug of cocoa, and knowing Cindy, being smothered in the kind of unconditional love you normally only find in therapy or Pixar movies. Cindy's always known how to handle pain. No dramatics. No lectures. Just tea. A quiet place to sit. A soft voice that makes you feel like you're not a burden. If I could have dropped everything that night and driven straight to her, I would have. Just to hold Olivia close. just to wipe that look off her face, the quiet hurt that doesn't scream, doesn't throw things, just sits in your chest and eats away at you.
I know that hurt. I grew up with it.
But trauma bays don't pause for mom emergencies.
So yeah, I kept working. Like a machine. On autopilot.
And in the back of my head, one thought just kept looping. How the hell did I let it get this far? Not why didn't they let her in?
That part's easy.
My parents have always operated by some unwritten rulebook, the kind where the rules are invisible until you accidentally break one, and then boom, you're out.
Excommunicated. No appeals.
Apparently, Olivia crossed some sacred line.
Maybe she looked at them the wrong way.
Maybe she said she wanted to be an engineer instead of an Instagram influencer.
Or maybe, God forbid, she declined a second cookie.
But that wasn't the real question.
The real question was this.
How did I, of all people, allow my daughter to walk straight into the same emotional meat grinder I barely survived? How did I hand her over to the very people who spent half my life teaching me I was never quite enough? And just like that, the memories came rushing in.
I was always the other one compared to Joan. She was the youngest. The golden child.
Born with a bow in her hair and a spotlight in her pocket. She was made for holiday cards and polite applause.
Joan loved anything sparkly. Rhinestone clips. Ruffle dresses. Ballet flats in 4 shades of pink. By 6, she needed a more creative environment.
By 10, she was modeling in front of her bedroom mirror. By 15, my mom was driving her to makeup studios for young ladies who photograph well.
Me? I asked for a microscope for Christmas. Didn't get it. Too unfeminine. Too weird for a girl.
When I was 11, I entered the school science fair. Built a working model of the human hand, joints, tendons, ligaments.
Slides. Diagrams. Terms memorized.
My mom looked at it like I'd just brought a dead animal into the kitchen.
It's a little graphic, Tiffany. Maybe stick to painting flowers.
The next day, Joan watercolor painted a rainbow and a butterfly.
It went on the fridge. My hand model? Straight to the garage. Pretty sure it's still there. Under a box of Christmas lights. Gifts? I got boots. A backpack. A winter coat you'll grow into. Joan got a puppy. An iPad. A necklace with a glittery J. I was taught to be practical. She was taught to be adored.
If Joan broke something of mine, I was careless for leaving it out. If I so much as brushed against her stuff, God help me. On my graduation day, my mom was too busy for a real shopping trip. We got a dress from the clearance rack, $40.
Joan's turn? Hair. Makeup.
A $300 dress from some boutique site. Full photo shoot with helium balloons.
Times are different now, Mom said.
Yeah.
Different in Joan's direction. She always told me I was too serious.
That brains aren't everything for a girl. That a woman's purpose was family, support, balance. My Aunt Cindy, my dad's younger sister, was the only one who ever said otherwise.
You're not weird, Tiffany, she told me once.
You're just smarter than they know how to deal with.
That's not a flaw.
Cindy never had kids of her own. Maybe that's why she saw us not as roles or responsibilities, but as actual people.
With her, I didn't have to shrink myself.
Which is exactly why I called her the second my parents shut the door on Olivia.
Because I knew Cindy wouldn't. She'd open the door. She'd open her arms. She'd believe her.
When I got into med school, my mom just shook her head. You really want to spend your life elbow deep in people's insides?
That's just so rough. She hoped I'd pick something more feminine. Literature, maybe. Or psychology. Something delicate.
But I'd wanted to heal things since I was 5. Bandaged my dolls with toilet paper. Gave them shots with orange peels and toothpicks.
Mom thought it was a phase. It wasn't.
Then I married Eric and moved to Oklahoma. He's a doctor too, emergency medicine. Different apartment, same chaos, we run into the mess when everyone else runs out.
My mom didn't like him from the start.
Not because he did anything wrong. But because he didn't let her swallow me whole like she was used to.
Our first official visit was Christmas. Me, him, and a ring on my finger. Holiday cheer, judgment in sequins. Turkey served with passive aggression. Mom tried to play nice. But subtlety's never been her strong suit. Think, broken microwave door energy. Over dinner, she asked if maybe we were rushing things. You two barely know each other. Tiffany, you could take your time. I stayed quiet, survival tactic. Classic. Eric though? Eric looked her in the eye, calm as ever, and said, I think Tiffany's more than capable of making that decision. And honestly, I'm honored she chose me. No yelling. No flex. Just boundaries. With kindness. The table went silent. Forks paused mid-air. Mom looked at him like he'd tracked mud onto her all-white carpet. That was it. From then on, he was not her kind of person. Translation: he didn't play by her rules. Didn't let her control the narrative. When Olivia was born, they brought over a towel. Pink. Embroidered. Practical gifts are important too, Mom said. When Joan had her first, they showed up with a dresser, stroller, air purifier, and, oh, Mom herself moved in to help with the baby. When Joan got divorced, with 3 kids, no job, dead out the ears, Mom said, she's had a rough year. We need to support her. And they did. Now they all live in my parents' house. Rent-free. Powered by love and family values. Meanwhile, I was paying my parents' health insurance, covering part of their mortgage, sending monthly just-in-case money. I even covered Joan's daughter's college tuition. And yet, Olivia? She never quite counted. Not like Joan's kids. They don't get left out in the cold. Mine? Apparently, she does. I think I knew it all along. I just didn't want to admit it. But the signs were everywhere. Last Christmas, Jeremy, Joan's son, got a drone. Like, full-on camera, GPS, the works. Olivia? Dog print pajamas. And socks. Mom said, very sweet. It's good for girls to learn to be homey. When Olivia won a Regional Robotics and Engineering Award, yeah regional, I sent a photo to the family group chat. Crickets. 2 days later, Dad replied with a thumbs-up sticker. An hour after that, he posted a photo of Jeremy at a school fun run. He didn't win, just ran. Joan's there in the background, glowing, holding a sign, you're the best. Comments. Hearts. Shares. My photo? Nothing. Not even a pity emoji. I remember just closing the chat. Didn't leave. Didn't delete it. Just closed it. Because it hurt. Honestly, if it weren't for Eric, his love, his patience, I might have turned into one of those hardened women who confuse independence with survival mode. He works just as much as I do, maybe more. But every time I come home, he hugs me, makes tea, tells me I'm a damn hero, even if I just spent 6 hours elbow deep in plaster and blood. He's the first person who ever said, you're not broken. They just never saw your worth. So when I picture Olivia standing outside my parents' house, exhausted, dirty from travel, hearing voices behind the door arguing whether she should be let in, I knew. That was it. That was the moment. I'm not letting my daughter grow up in the same emotional minefield I did. If it means cutting off my own parents, so be it. No screaming. No drama. Just, done. Because that scene, the one with the door that didn't open, that wasn't a misunderstanding. That was a choice. And you know what I've heard from my mom since? Nothing. No call. No text. Not even a fake oops sorry. But this time, I'm not staying quiet. Not for me. For Olivia. I got home just before midnight. My eyes were burning, my brain buzzing like someone installed a power line inside my skull and cranked it to max. I dropped my bag, kicked off my shoes, and just stood in the hallway. No thoughts. No feelings. Just one sentence looping in my head, that's enough. Eric was still up. He always is. Tea ready, blanket waiting, lamp on in the living room. And that look, concern, not interrogation. He didn't say a word at first. Just walked up, wrapped his arms around me, let me breathe into his chest. They didn't let her in, I said. I know, he replied. I talked to Olivia. She said she's fine. But it's not fine. I sat on the couch, peeled off my socks, opened my laptop. No warm-up. No big speech. Just went straight to the bank app. Eric sat next to me. You sure? He asked quietly. I'm done, I said. I've been paying for love I never actually got. That ends now. First to go? Those little extras I'd been wiring to my parents every month. Quietly. Without asking for thanks. Gone. Line by line. Then the mortgage. Yep, the house where my daughter got turned away like a stray cat. The house I helped pay for. The house I thought of as the family home. Nope. Not anymore. Next. College tuition. Joan's oldest daughter. I barely even know the girl. But I've been footing the bill. Because Joan's struggling. Because she needs help. Because you make good money, Tiffany. Yes, I do. And no, I'm not paying for other people's laziness in the name of family values anymore. Cancelled. Health insurance was next. I'd added my parents to my hospital plan, discounted rate, lots of paperwork, countless emails to HR explaining why it was so important. Because they're older. Because dad's got high blood pressure. Because mom's got whatever she has this week. I stared at their names on the screen. Clicked remove. No anger. No revenge. Just housekeeping. Like taking out something that's gone sour before it infects everything else in the fridge. While I clicked through the tabs, I remembered how it all started. The first time Mom said it. Joan's having a hard time. She's got the kids, the loans. You make good money. And I agreed. Once. Then again. Then it became a system. Joan promised, I'll pay you back when things get better. Spoiler, they never did. And no one ever intended to. I paid for home repairs. A new washer. Their Disneyland trip, because apparently Jeremy deserves a magical childhood. More recently, Mom asked me to cover a European vacation. 4-3. Her, Dad, and Joan. She said they needed to relax and get inspired by culture. I told her I didn't have that kind of money right now. She got offended. Said I was stingy with family. Said I never really knew how to be generous. At the time, I shrugged it off. Now I wonder if that's why they turned Olivia away. Like, oh, not paying for our trip? Guess we don't owe your kid a place to sleep. If that's true, it's not just petty. It's vile. The next morning, I woke up feeling like I'd actually slept. Not doctor slept. Human slept. Like I wasn't dragging around a ghost version of family that only existed when they needed something. Olivia came back 3 days later. The second she walked in, I saw it, she was bracing. Holding herself together. Generational instinct, don't fall apart, don't cause a scene. She dropped her bag and asked, Mom, are you mad at me? Not how are you? Not what happened. Just are you mad? Because in her head, she still thought it was her fault. That she did something wrong. That she was the reason they shut the door in her face. We talked on the phone, every night. I told her again and again it wasn't her. But her voice stayed small. Like something inside her cracked, not loud, not dramatic. Quiet. Deep. I hugged her. Phone calls don't fix everything. Sometimes you need to hold your kid, just so they can finally let go. Olivia, I said, you did absolutely nothing wrong. Not one thing. They were wrong. And I'm sorry. I should never have let them near you. I thought they could be better to you than they were to me. I was wrong. She looked up at me, steady, quiet, and nodded. Like she finally believed it. Like maybe, just maybe, she wasn't alone in this. Did you talk to them? She asked. There's nothing left to say, I said. I shut it all down. The money. The support. Everything. We don't owe them anything anymore. Not a dime. Not an explanation. Not even a second thought. Even Grandma? Especially Grandma, I said. If you can turn a kid away at your door, you've officially removed yourself from this family. We don't live in that circus anymore. She nodded again. Sat with it. Then quietly said, I didn't think they'd actually do it. I stood there. I thought they'd open the door eventually. I pulled her close. Held her like I hadn't in years.
Like I was hugging every version of her who ever thought she had to earn love. "You'll never have to stand like that again," I whispered. "Not outside anyone's door. If there's no place for you, we'll make one. Together. Got it?" She nodded. "Got it." We curled up on the couch, put on some old goofy comedy she loved when she was 10. And for the first time in what felt like forever, we just rested. Together. 2 weeks went by. No money from me. And just like clockwork, it started. Texts. Calls. Voicemails. One after another. "Mom. Dad. Joan. Did you forget to send it? How are we supposed to pay the mortgage? Do you realize we could lose the house? Are you punishing us? For what? Olivia's fine, isn't she? She stayed with Cindy. What's the big deal? Family means forgiveness, Tiffany. You're tearing us apart." I stayed quiet. 1 day. Then 2. Then 3. And then one morning, sitting on the porch with a cup of coffee, I tapped record. My voice didn't shake. "You didn't let my daughter in. No warning. No regret. She stood at your door, and you didn't open it. You knew I was working. You knew we were hit by a tornado. You knew she was coming. And still, you chose not to let her in. I paid for everything. The lights. The roof over your head. The comfort. And in return, you turned me into a walking ATM. Well, that's over. I don't owe you anything. Not you. Not Joan. So go ahead. Now you know what it feels like. To need someone. To be scared. And to have a door shut in your face." I hit send. Then I switched my phone to do not disturb. Then I turned it off. And you know what? I didn't feel guilty. Not for being firm. Not for being cold. Not for choosing us. All I felt was a kind of quiet clarity. Like the air finally got still after the storm. It wasn't revenge. It was just me. Finally canceling a subscription to a kind of love I never actually received. And it was easier than I thought it'd be. Because when you pull your daughter out of the same fire you were raised in, that's the moment you stop being just a mom. You become a free woman. About a month after I officially retired as the family ATM, the miracles began. Real, physical letters started showing up. In 2024. That's basically a cry for help. Then came the texts. The calls. The dramatic voice messages. All full of pauses, guilt trips, and exaggerated heartbreak. Turns out, they'd started getting notifications. Dad got a letter about a missed mortgage payment. Apparently, the house they slammed shut in my daughter's face doesn't magically pay for itself. Who knew? Joan got a notice from her daughter's college. Your payer is no longer active. Please contact the billing office. Yikes. And the cherry on top? A call from the clinic. Turns out Mom's appointment got cancelled. Her insurance stopped covering chronic dissatisfaction with life. Guess it's out of network now. Then the new wave of guilt calls started. Are you out of your mind? My baby won't get an education. Have a heart. How could you do this to your parents? You're a doctor. You owe us. I didn't respond. Not to one single call. Not one tear-filled message trying to reconnect. A few days later, they leveled up. Enter, public shame. Mom's friend Marjorie, local reporter, queen of sad stories about lost cats and underfunded bake sales, decided to write a hit piece. Title: When Children Forget, A Couple Left Behind. It had everything. Tearful nostalgia, warped memories of my childhood, a soft focus photo of my parents on their porch looking tragically abandoned, and of course, a heavy drizzle of passive-aggressive guilt. Their daughter is a successful doctor. But when they needed her most, she vanished. Where is the gratitude we all hope for? Yeah. Where is it, indeed? It got printed. Online. And someone, gee wonder who, shared it with every relative, family friend, and drumroll my hospital. HR. Front desk. Someone even dropped off a hard copy at reception. I didn't hear about it from my family. I heard about it from a trauma nurse on break. Hey, did you see this? She asked, sliding the paper across the table.
I read it. Every word. First I shook. Then I went ice cold. And then, weirdly calm.
You know that moment when something's hurt you for so long that eventually the nerve just dies?
I made 2 calls. The first, to the paper. Polite. Firm.
Legal phrases like defamation, invasion of privacy, and documented financial records. The second, to the hospital's legal team.
Just in case. Then I sent an email. Attached were 6 years of payment records, health insurance documentation, college tuition invoices, and a note that said, "Family isn't always love.
Sometimes, it's a long-running bill you keep paying in silence." 48 hours later, a tiny correction appeared on page 4. After the article's release, new documents were submitted.
Some facts were incomplete.
"We apologize for the misunderstanding."
But it didn't end there.
Extended family, the Olympics of judgment, they had already gotten the article.
With comments like, "Look what Tiffany turned into.
How could she abandon her own parents?
All for what? Career? Money?"
I waited for the right moment. Then I forwarded the correction
to every name in that group chat. Attached. Screenshot of the retraction. Summary of all payments. And just one sentence. "Here's what really happened. I got tired of being useful only when I kept quiet." Silence. Until one morning. A new post in the family chat. From Aunt Cindy. A photo of cruise tickets. Mediterranean, Italy, France, Greece. And a card, from me.
"Thank you for being the one adult who once told me, you're good. Even if your mother doesn't think so."
Cindy wrote, "My favorite niece made a dream come true. A cruise. God bless you, Tiffany. You've always been the light in this family." I knew Mom saw it. Joan too. And the whole peanut gallery. More calls. More finger pointing. I looked at my phone. Read the messages.
Then placed it face down on the table.
I'm done explaining.
The people who wanted to understand, already do.
A year passed.
My parents sold the house, couldn't keep up with payments.
Moved into a trailer. Say it's cozy. Less pressure.
Joan's working at some salon. Still sends me passive-aggressive cards on holidays.
No return address. Her daughter didn't drop out. Guess they found the money.
Amazing what people can do when they have to.
And me? I'm home. With Eric. With Olivia. We make pancakes on Sundays. Play board games. It's quiet. Sometimes boring. But you know what I feel? Not guilt. Freedom.
If you made it to the end, thank you. Drop a comment and let me know what you think.
Did I do the right thing? Did I go too far? What would you have done? And if this story hit a nerve, hit subscribe. More stories like this are coming. Oh, and one last thing. If you have an Aunt Cindy in your life, hold on tight. And if you are someone's Aunt Cindy, thank you. For all of us.